Badu, a cat that totally took our hearts. Badu arrived after her original owner could no longer keep her. She was given to the parents who really didn't care to have her. So they put her in a stall in their barn. Granted, it was clean, but that's no place for a wonderful, long-haired cat. Badu was a calico that was simply beautiful. Badu was her own cat and really didn't appreciate the fact that there were other cats around. She wanted the rescue center all to herself. Yes, sometimes she even bit humans. But when she wanted to be petted, she was all lovey. To save her from the stress of so many other cats around, Jackie decided to take her inside the house. All was well for a while. Then she, unfortunately, started to have a go at the Z's in the house. Because she could do serious harm to them, that wasn't going to work. With a heavy heart, it was decided that Badu would be going to a new home. The lady that so wanted to have her fostered her. No other cats, a rocking chair, and big windows with bird feeders. At first we called daily about Badu. All was well. Then we called weekly. All was still good. Now just a rare call. Other than the fact of missing this great cat, all is well for Badu. And that's what we want, the happiness of the cat. And she's no longer fostered. She is home to stay. This is Badu. And thank you to Tammy L., Cassandra H., Pat P., Diane E., and Shelley H. And I have Toki. Toki. Poor little baby. She was left in a box at night in our parking lot. I can imagine how scared that must have been, in strange surroundings and no mama. Her litter mates are Mitty, Cobus, Hudson, and Gemini. They were just a mere 4 weeks old when they arrived. They were a bit thin and definitely had their load of parasites. Tuki had the sweetest of faces, half gold and half black. Tuki and her litter mates were awesome. They were all adopted. Tuki was adopted by our FFR friends Connie and Hannah S. and her family. She truly went to an awesome family. They picked her because she was a big love bug and purring machine, Lucky Tuki. An added note from her family, Hannah and Connie. Tuki, a 3-year-old, and still sucks on blankets. She will lay on an electric blanket or in front of the electric heater for hours. She loves hot. She will only eat fancy feast, fish, and shrimp. Her special treat is a squirt of canned cheese. The only thing she plays with are the springs, and she talks to them. And here she is. And thank you to Connie and Hannah S.
I did Clark earlier, and this is Viola, Clark's mama. A mama with 6 kittens. What a big litter. She and her babies arrived on August 21st of 2013. She is a very young mother of only 10 months old. She is a silver gray tiger and white cat. She was rather thin, but within 1 month she had gained 1.5 pounds. Wouldn't it just be awful to be on your own outside with no one person helping you or feeding you, and you had so many mouths to feed? This is also her reminder to please get those girls spayed and the boys neutered. Would make for such a better world. Viola's kittens were Cashel, Clark, Camellia, Carlton, Clayton, and Callan, an exceptionally cute litter. All these babies were adopted. Viola was also adopted late October of 2013. She went to a lady that was very excited about having her. And here is her picture, and then I don't know if you can see. That's her and her litter. And a special thanks to Patrick C. and Fiona H. She's a very pretty kitty. And then Montana. This dear brown tiger met with a big ugly metal trap. He was astray outside and got into trouble with that trap. He had his front right foot stuck in it. Someone simply opened the trap and let him go, never even helping him. Days later, he went up to someone and they saw he was needing help and brought him to FFRC. Poor baby, by now the leg was a dead leg as the nerves had been severed and could not be repaired. Off to the vets for his surgery, which required a leg amputation. You could tell that he felt so much better when he recovered from the surgery. He was ready to rock and roll. Nothing stopped this boy. Life was great and he thoroughly enjoyed cats, people, and life in general. He always seemed to be a gentle soul. Montana was 11 months old when he arrived and was adopted 4 months after arrival. He went to a prenatal home in Canada. His mom and dad, who are Jenny and Brent, also adopted Januka, Halo, Spruce, and Abner all at the same time as Montana. This gives them a wonderful cat family crew. This is the same family that came back to adopt Snappy. What a wonderful life for them all. And his date of birth is February 6th of 2012. He came here January 29th of 2013 and was adopted May 21st of 2013. And a special thank you to Marilyn S., Joanne C., and Sheila H. And here's Montana. And I remember the night they were picking out their kitties to adopt. Jackie and I were here, and Jenny had walked out, and Montana jumped up into that window back there to watch Jenny leave. And it just touched me and Jackie so much that Jackie ran out and had to tell them that Montana was just watching every move they made. It was truly, he had picked them, which most cats do. My 2 cats picked us, so.
Bethany. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice here. Date of birth 1/15/2011. Arrived here 7/12/2012. Adopted 10/2/2012. Bethany, this beautiful mama kitty, arrived with kittens in tow. The kittens were known as the Fiver kittens. They were called Efraphra, Avens, Frith, Campion, Butterbur, and of course Fiver. They all had long hair of varying lengths. When they arrived, all were very thin and had many fleas and very dirty. It took several bubble baths to get each of them clean. It must have felt good because Bethany didn't mind her baths at all. Bethany was such a nice cat, so gentle and enjoyed being petted. It's fun to watch a mama that probably needs to spend all her time trying to care for kittens to come here and have enough food and be able to relax and play. It's amazing what good care can produce a shiny, clean cat. Bethany is a Duluth calico. She was pretty laid back once she realized she didn't have to work so hard to find food for her kittens. Then one day we heard from Peter and Linda B. in New York. They wanted to adopt Bethany and her kitten Butterbur together. This happened on 10/2/12. Thank you, Linda and Peter, for providing loving homes for these 2 wonderful cats. And this is Bethany when she first came in, and then after she'd been here a little bit. And thanks to Tammy L. for letting us tell the story of Bethany. The second kitty is one of Bethany's babies, Frith. This is one handsome boy. I fell in love with this kitten when he was here. Such a gorgeous long-haired gray and white. He came to FFRC when he was 7 weeks old. His mom and siblings were with him. Bethany is the mama. There was 1 sister and 4 brothers. These kittens, on a scale of 1 to 10 for cuteness, just ranked at the top. All the kittens were adopted, including Frith. Frith had just a tiny bit of trouble ending up in the right home. You see, he was adopted twice and returned both times. Reasons like not having enough time for him. But the 3rd adoption was the charmer. This one was on 2/21/13. Excuse me. And this is the right home for him. It was nice, though. Each time he came back, he would get right back to his routine here. What a great memory cats have. Remember, it's our policy, for whatever reason and for whatever length of time, FFRC will gladly take any of our cats back. Frith loved toys, was great with all the cats and kittens, and with kids. He just enjoyed everything about him. A happy, handsome boy. And this is thanks to Patrick Christie. And here's the fifth boy. He had the most distinctive markings of any of the fiber kittens. And I'm going to cheat and do one more because this is one of my favorite kitties. Berta, now known as Sophie Marie. This was an extra special, sweet, and adorable litter of kittens. A family was aware of this litter, but said the neighborhood Rottweiler dog was trying to kill them, so she brought the litter to us. There was Berta, Berto, T-Toes, Tilly Toes, and Tippy Toes, all named toe names due to their white toes. Gorgeous kittens, they were 6 weeks old upon arrival. They were all little good eaters and so enjoyed playing. When a nasty virus took hold of this litter, we actually lost one of them. Berta was also affected, but a big fighter. This time, Sherry, our volunteer, fell for Berta. Sherry came almost every day, sometimes twice a day, to visit her little kitten. She had to wait until she was big enough to spay to take her home, and we had to wait until she was well enough. Berta pulled through with flying colors, as did the rest of the litter. We've seen pictures of some of this litter, and they are real beauties. Berta's real name is Princess Sophie Marie. She's a very unique cat. She goes for walks on harnesses with her mom. She's also one cat who thoroughly enjoys dressing up. I do believe Sophie Marie likes the dress up. Pretty sure that's a smile on her face. So this little kitten went from possibly losing her life from a dog to a life of much love. And this is what she looked like the first time I met her. Here she is with Sherry. And thanks to Peggy and Bernie.
Okay, this is Jessie. Jessie, what a beauty. Jessie had actually lived with her mom for many, many years. Jessie arrived at FFRC when she was 15, definitely an Ulster. She's part Maine Coon, while her markings are brown tiger and white. Her mom could no longer take care of her, so friends of hers helped with arrangements to get her to FFRC. Her mom even made sure she had her checkup before coming to us. Jessie spends quite a bit of her days napping. She especially likes the sunshine coming in the windows. But there's part of the day reserved where she walks and walks around the rescue center just checking things out. She has a nice personality. Every once in a while, she'll find a catnip toy that pleases her and plays and plays. Her health is good, and she loves her special meals that she receives. Jessie was born April 22nd, 1999, and arrived here on May 26, 2014. Matter of fact, she arrived the same day that I arrived here. Yeah, Jessie, pretty girl. She could be a little bit of diva, but she's a sweetheart. And thank you to Ann F. and Anonymous for sponsoring Jessie Senior today. Let's see here. We got the Pushkin twins. The Pushkins. Look at them. Everybody remembers them? Pushkish and Pushkins, the orange twins. Oh my, how we loved these two boys. I remember when this man came to FFRC carrying these two kittens. He came walking into the office with one kitten in each hand, just standing there talking, waving his hands with the kittens just flopping. They were so riddled with fleas and were so weak. I asked him to hand them over and let me start working on them. We finally got a cap star on each of them and put them in a pen. There were many hundreds of dead fleas that started falling off of them. Then we started on their tummies. They were famished. They were only 3 weeks old and had to be bottle fed. No wonder they grew to be such wonderful sweeties. They were bottle fed and reaped lots of love on them. These kittens, when tired, would both head to their hooded bed to sack out together. Emmeline was a frequent bather of them. They grew fast and strong and healthy. When they were 7 months old, they were chosen to go to college. That's at the Vet Tech College in Fort Wayne. They wanted to use a few of our cats for the students to learn how to draw blood on, handle cats, and do physicals. The boys loved it, had even more people to pet them. Both passed with flying colors. I remember one time when Pushkins decided to run the cat-go-round wheel, although he was a bit confused. Instead of riding it from the inside, he stepped on the top of it. But he did succeed in making it go around a few laps before falling off. They were double the fun and double the joy. Then we received a phone call from Jan P. in Maine. She wanted to adopt the brothers together, and we were thrilled. Connie D., a volunteer, offered to do the trip and transport the boys to her. Mission accomplished and all is well. Thank you, Jan. And the Pushkins and Pushkis were sponsored by Jacqueline M.
Next, we have Filbert, and Filbert is being sponsored by MAW and Nigel W. Filbert, a super handsome big boy. Filbert lost his home due to his owner no longer being able to care for him. He was taken to a vet's office where he lived for months. Because he had such a sweet personality, we were asked if we would take him and find him a home, and we said yes. He was 6 years old when he arrived. Such a nice cat, super friendly, and loved to be petted. He arrived here with a chronic eye problem that kept becoming infected. Our vet suggested that his eye be removed, which we did. You could tell that made him feel so much better. He also had a dental and 7 extractions done at the same time. He was now ready to be adopted. Filbert had one of the fluffiest, bushiest tails of any of our cats, and he loved to walk around with it up to show everyone. He also did something that made us laugh. The more you petted him, the more he would lick you. Such a great cat. He went to his home in 2012. And Filbert's birthday is February 3rd, 2006, and he arrived at FFRC April 4th of 2012. And next is Ernestine. And Ernestine is being sponsored by Terry W. This sweet calico is trying to raise her 4 kittens outside. She and the babies had claimed a business as their home, but the people that worked there knew that wasn't a place to raise young'uns. So all 5 of them were brought here to FFRC. Ernestine is a beautiful calico, such pretty markings. She and the kittens were named for the Muppets. There were 2 boys and 2 girls. Their names were Gonzo, Fozzie, Barbara, and Rizzo. The kittens all went to wonderful homes. Once Ernestine didn't have to watch over her babies, she came to love playing with toys. It was so nice to see her happy and free of mommy duties. She also loved the window shelves. She was adopted on July 6, 2012, a full year after she arrived here. And her birthday is July the 5th, 2009. And she arrived at FFRC on July the 11th, 2011. And this here is County, and County is also being sponsored by Terry W. And County was another hit by car. Somebody found him on the road all by himself. He had obviously been hit pretty hard and was just left there. So sad that so many people don't even stop to see if they're alive. County was alive and wanted to live. A person who saw him on the road gathered him up and took him to Dr. P's office in Bryan. It was discovered that he had a major fracture to his right femoral head. So also he had 4 teeth that were broken. Surgery was scheduled for the next day. He had a long day of it. The femoral head was repaired by a pin to stabilize it. All 4 teeth were removed. Weeks later, he would also have a few more teeth removed that were injured and not settling back into place. But then he was all better and felt like a new cat. He had plenty to eat and lots of people to love him. County was also a shy boy. He had to be approached quietly, but he was always loved those chin rubs. Then, after being at FFRC for almost 2 years, a family adopted him. He waited a long time for his own family, and it had finally happened. There he became the center of attention. We were all so very happy for him. And County's birthday is July of 2010. He arrived at FFRC in June 9th, 2011, and was adopted in April of 2013. And there's one picture of him, and then here we've got one more of him. Bill?
Yvonne, what a beautiful girl. She is a Tortie Siamese. Yvonne was first brought here by a friend. Yvonne was hanging around her neighbor's shed. She actually rarely came out from underneath it. The reason is that the backyard dog would get after her each time she would venture out. The intent of the dog was to bite Yvonne, so our friend coaxed Yvonne out and then brought her here sick. She was 1.5 years old. It took her a little bit to settle and to realize that she was safe and that petting was great. She had her certain people that she allowed to pet her, though, and as far as the other cats, she wasn't so fond of them. When our friend Barb came to visit, she and Yvonne became great friends. It was decided that Barb would take her home, which was in Washington State. Once there, Yvonne became worried again. Barb tried many things in order to help Yvonne be happy, but it just wasn't working. In a completely unselfish act, Barb decided to bring Yvonne back to FFRC. We had a plan already for when they arrived. Just days after returning to FFRC, we had Yvonne in a home. One person, no cats, but a dog. And guess what? Yvonne and the dog are pretty good friends now. She's a happy girl. That's what we want, happy cats and happy homes. Sometimes we have to figure things out which way to go for each individual cat. Thank you, Barb, for what you did for Yvonne. And Yvonne was sponsored by Joanne C. and Beth A. The next cat is, I have an assistant reader here. It's been determined that I don't read that well. A friend of FFRC brought Raza one day. It was in March of 2011. She was very pregnant. Our friend was the one who rescued her from a bad situation. Just 2 weeks after arrival, Raza gave birth to 6 kittens. She had 5 boys and 1 girl. They were beautiful. Raza arrived a bit shy, but that's okay. We still loved her. She became very thin from nursing all those kittens. After the kittens started eating by themselves, Raza was able to gain some weight. And then she kept gaining some weight. It always amazes me about cats that they have been very hungry sometimes in their life. Sometimes they must think food may go missing again, and so they eat and eat. We've seen this happen before. Raza was a beautiful golden white cat. She loved the windows to look out. She enjoyed watching all the kittens and even caring for them in the rescue center. Bird feeders were also fun to watch for her. We were also hopeful that someday she would find her very own home. After being here for 2.5 years, Deb B. from Georgia called. She wanted Raza, along with Merlin, Arden, Ernest, and Alaska. They went to a wonderful home where they were all loved dearly. Thanks, Deb. And Raza was sponsored by Kathy S., as well as Little Goosey.
You gonna help? Okay. I'm sure most of you know who Connie Kay and her husband Kurt are. And this is about Marie, as told by Connie. And she had written.
This was published in a newspaper.
Yeah, she says that she wrote this a little over 2 years ago. And here's our story of how Marie and how she and FFRC came into our lives. It was done 2 years ago for an article. I am not one I am not much one to believe in falling in love at first sight. Until one evening in 2010, I was cuddled with my 2 cats and laptop surfing the internet. I was always looking at pictures of animals and dreaming of the day that would come soon to be able to start my own transport and rescue. One particular young kitty's photo and story reached out, fast and strong, and just took my breath away. I kept telling myself to get a grip, but I just couldn't. Little Marie's photo and story had captured my heart and soul. In the days to come, even though I tried and tried to push her from my thoughts, the more she invaded my thoughts and dreams. Finally, I could no longer fight my feelings, so off I went to find this place called FFRC and to see in person this very special little girl called Marie that had reached out from the laptop screen and squeezed my heart. I felt like such a fool as I walked into FFRC that first time, knowing whoever ran this place might think I was totally bonkers as to why I had came there. A very sweet lady named Jackie greeted me just inside the office door and asked me if she could help me. Oh, geesh. I was so nervous and embarrassed, but started to tell her why I was there. While I was telling her, this small paw reached down off the top of a cat tree and tapped me on the shoulder as if to say, "You came to see me!" Jackie looked at me and said, "Well, I guess we don't have to go find her for you. Marie found you." I was in disbelief. I had thought maybe once I had seen Marie, I would lose that feeling of being foolish and loving the photo of her online, but that feeling didn't even begin to fade. Jackie then told me Marie's story. As a kitten, she came to FFRC and had an eye disease and was pretty much blind. She would need daily medicine for her eyes and some special care. To look at Marie, you couldn't really tell there was anything wrong with her other than she would climb and shimmy up things rather than jump. I was truly mesmerized by this precious little soul. Her only bad habit was she was a little towel and washcloth thief. She just loved to steal the towels and washcloths and stash them. I visited Marie for a long while that very first day and thanked this wonderful lady named Jackie. I told her I had some serious thinking to do and would be back the following week to visit with Marie again. I left that day with very mixed feelings. My heart was very much in love with that little towel thief, but my head was telling me that there was no way I had time with working and trying to start up an animal transport and rescue that I could truly devote the time and love that Marie so truly deserved. That next week I kept telling myself there was just no way, and I would not go back to see her, that FFRC could give her so much more than I could. This place was just so wonderful, but no matter how much I fought it, I went back that next week to visit Marie, and the week after, and the week after that, for 6 weeks, and each week Marie was waiting for me and run to me and sat with me the whole time. And when I would go to leave, she would walk me to the door. Then as I would watch her from outside the door, she would walk away and climb back up to her bed on Dodger's Pin, as if to say, "I'll be here waiting." The 7th week came, and I knew my heart couldn't take any more being without this little earth angel. I walked in, and this wonderful lady, Jackie, was waiting. She put her arms around me and hugged me, and she said, "I've watched you and Marie for 6 weeks now. No one can love Marie as you do, and she you. You can make this work for you both." I asked Marie if she was finally ready to go home. She ran to me, shimmied up my leg into my arms, and we went home. And yes, we made it work. It is now 2014, and it's still working. We had laser surgery on Marie's eyes. She now has 40% vision in one eye and 30 in the other. She goes to work with me and flourishes daily in pet therapy. She has accepted and loved all the other cats and dogs here at Tri-State. And she will always, always be our special, beautiful little earth angel. And she is so very loved by so very many. And yes, she still has that funny little fetish for towels and washcloths. Without places such as FFRC, Marie and others would not have the chance to find that forever home that they so much deserve. Please donate, volunteer, and help support places such as this. They are so totally worth it. Just ask Marie. And then I think it's going to be my final story for the night.
I think so. I think you're down to your last one.
Magenta. you'll make it through. Thanks.
I'm right behind her.
The sweet girl was purple when she first arrived in 2003. Her birthday was in 1997. Someone put something on her. We're not sure what, but it was very hard to wash off. We bathed her 3 times, and then the purple hue had to wear off. She arrived pregnant and had 4 kittens. Their names were, appropriately, Rose, Lilac, Lavender, and Fuchsia. She was an awesome mama to these kittens. Eventually, all the kittens were adopted. Magenta 2 was adopted to an elderly lady. She was with this lady for a couple of years, and then her owner passed away. She was returned to FFRC. Soon after her arrival, another lady came to the rescue center. She was in a wheelchair and had oxygen. That didn't bother Magenta at all. She jumped right up onto the lady's lap and settled down for a nap. Needless to say, Magenta went home with this lady. Eventually, she too passed away. The sun brought Magenta back. By this time, Magenta was starting to show a bit of age. She was so comfortable here, we decided it wasn't fair to adopt her out again, so she became a permanent resident and earned the rank of being an Ulster. She died at a respectable age of 16 years old. She was so very loved and left a bit of a hole in the heart of all of us, actually. She loved her countertop. It indeed was hers the last couple of years of her life. She loved being on it and being where everyone worked at. She must have been fed 20 small meals a day, and that's not an exaggeration. Anytime she gave any of us that certain look, that meant, "Feed me, please." We always did. She was another extra special girl. And she was, indeed, a special girl. Thank you to Karen F., Jeremy K., and Tanya B. And here's a picture of our beautiful Magenta. And here's another picture of her. And when I first saw her on the cam, she looked pretty fluffy because she had long hair. And when I finally came in here and then started volunteering, the first time I picked her up, I was amazed because she weighed like right around 4 pounds, and it was like picking up a little airball. She was very tiny and petite. We all loved her dearly.
Might as well keep out the tissues. I have 2 kind of more sad stories, but good ones. First one is Bravo. This special story is a hard one for many of us. His name was Bravo because he was oh so brave. He was born May 2012 to an outside cat. The person that found him and his mama fed them, but realized something was very wrong with his back legs. He wanted to bring the little kitten to FFRC. We said yes, we would take him, but Mama had to be spayed. So 3 days later, Mama was spayed and was happily living inside with this man. And then he brought Bravo to us on June 19th. One look at his legs, and it was obvious this kitten had 2 very deformed rear legs. They were solid, meaning very stiff and unmovable. As a result, the legs stayed in a straight out position. The skin between his hip and knee was very, very shortened and tight, which caused him great discomfort. But as is the way with cats, he still zoomed about. Excuse me. The problem was that as he grew, this became even more tight. He was such a wee baby when he arrived. We had 2 vets agree that surgery was needed to remove these 2 legs, and they would like to do it when he was a bit over 2 pounds. No problem. We've done lots of 2-pound surgeries on kittens. It was agreed the sooner the surgery could be done, the better he would feel and be able to get around. Also, there was a worry that he would develop sores and possible infections. In the meantime of waiting for him to grow, Bravo played, he loved everyone, and he purred so very loud.
He had a way about himself that made us all pick him up, cuddle him, and carry him around. Our viewers also fell in love with him. Even from long distance, they knew he had a heart of pure gold and bravery. So Bravo then had his surgery. During the surgery and being able to see things better, it was realized he had far more birth defects inside than imagined. But the surgery was completed and thought to be successful. On his second day after surgery, our troubles began. Things started shutting down for Bravo, and he passed away in the evening. This was a loss that reeled all of us. We weren't prepared to lose this brave little boy. His life was short, but he touched many lives. He showed us that it doesn't matter how long you have, it is what you do with each day that matters. And for this short life, he knew love, and he knew no limitations. He was happy and was allowed to be a kitten. When he passed with love surrounding him, not only close by, but from thousands of miles away. Bravo, he taught us so much about love, and given the choice, we would still take him. Thank you to Marilyn S. and Margaret H. There's a picture of him again. And you might as well keep more tissues out. Next is Pizzazz.
You know, we saved the hard ones for last. I've got one too.
Pizzazz. This special boy arrived 9, 10, 12. This baby came here close on the heels of Bravo, which made us all do a double take, especially as he too is black. His little back legs simply did not work. There was no muscle tone at all. His personality was mighty and with a lot of spunk. He had potty issues, which we were trying to help him with. He would follow Doracho all around. As small as he was, he already had an I can do attitude. We all loved his spirit and determination. He immediately took to being on the floor in the main area. There's lots of fun things to do there. We exercised his legs, did laser therapy on him, had Dr. Bill work on him, anything to help with his muscles. During all of this, I swear this boy would smile. He was just so very happy to be here. Food? Yeah. Let's play. That sounds good too. Want to be held? Oh, yes, 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 yes. Anything he did with a good spirit. Then we started noticing that his muscles continued to atrophy. So did his abdominal muscles. Another couple of days, it was plain to see we were in trouble. His intestinal tract basically shut down. No mobility at all. He passed while being held and loved. We had so hoped he would lead a long, happy, loving life here. As it was happy and loving, but short. He was another very special boy who was loved by the world. Deaths are always hard to handle. We never like it, wishing instead for a very long life of all of our pets. But we have a choice to make. Either we get stuck in the grieving process and wallow in this desperate feeling, or we carry on. Grieving is good and it's necessary so we can feel right again. But we also have to carry on. There's so much joy, energy, and love here at the Rescue Center. Our work will always continue. While remembering those that have passed, we also have another choice to make. Do we stop taking in cats and kittens because we fear death that will happen again? In our case here, no, that is not an option any of us wants. We know death will arrive again at some point, but we will continue what we have a passion for, which is running this rescue. Special thanks to Marilyn S., Fiona H., and Jennifer S.
No, not right now. Okay, I have 3 more stories for you. These are all some of our oldsters. This one here is Jack. And Jack's being sponsored by Margaret K. and Joanne C. Jack, what a big boy he was. An elderly oldster at that. He arrived here at FFRC when he was 21 years old. Yes, you heard me right, 21 years old. His mom had to move out of state. You see, she was elderly too and needed the help of her family. Due to the distance, it was felt that Jack should not make that very long trip, so he arrived here. He was born in 1992. Jack loved the water bowls. At first, we couldn't figure out why water was always on the floor. Then we saw him actually playing. It was such a joy to see. We were all grateful that Jack was with us. He had a nice time here and was petted and fussed over. But the last week of his life, you could tell that he was losing his sparkle. He had people that loved him sitting with him when he passed over. He was so peaceful and comfortable. I called his mom to tell her the news. She and I had a very nice conversation with her telling me many, many stories of Jack. Her favorite was the day Jack brought up a big garter snake to the house, so very proud of himself. She told him he was a good boy. We had Jack cremated and he was sent to his mom. And Jack was born in 1992. He arrived at FFRC on March 25th, 2013 and passed April 23rd of 2013. My next oldster is our dear Ada Jane. And Ada Jane's being sponsored by Lori G., Donna S., James P., Tanya B., and Rita M. Ada Jane was 10 years old when she was dropped off at a local animal shelter to be euthanized. The reason? Why? She was just getting too old. The family didn't want to deal with her oldness. Jackie was there the day she was to be euthanized, seeing nothing but a beautiful older girl who was super friendly. She went for a car ride right to FFRC. She has never had a full-size meow. Sometimes she does, but most of the time she opens her mouth and nothing but a crackly meow comes out. And then when she tilts her head up too, she makes her look so extra cute. Her favorite place to be is on top of the washer. The gentle jiggliness puts her to sleep. She has her special basket and no one else is to be in it. That cute little black dot on her nose needs kisses every day. She's now 19 and a half years old, and yes, she's very proud of that. She is in the beginning of kidney failure, but that doesn't bother her. She has her sink close by that she laps up all the water she wants, and she knows all that she has to do is a silent meow and word at her beck and call. We love this girl. And Ada Jane was born on February the 10th, 1995, and arrived at FFRC February the 11th, 2005. And that's Ada Jane's story. And the last one I have to read is Sheriff Putter, our boy. There's another picture of him. And Putter today is being sponsored by Ronald R. and Susan E. Putter, one of the most special loving cats ever. He arrived here in June of 2010 and was found on a golf course, hence his name. To put it mildly, he was one gigantic matted mess. Plus, he appeared to be an older cat. In the process of shaving him to remove we had to remove his entire matted coat. Jackie set the clippers down 3 different times to stop and wonder if he could survive. 3 times she picked up the clippers and started again. When done, he was a very skinny cat, but when he awoke, those beautiful blue eyes of his looking right at us as if saying thanks. He found his way into each one of our hearts. For 3 years, he lived at the rescue center. We can all picture him sitting there in the middle of the floor with his magnificent coat of fur that grew back in. He was a handsome Himalayan. He'd sit there just waiting for the whippersnapper kittens to walk in front of him so he could whack him or her. That was his job. He kept those youngsters in line. Every once in a while, he would get a burst of energy and gallop through the rescue center. We would all cheer. He was a cat, as they all were, that mattered. He mattered so very much to us. He signified what can happen when much love is given. A chance to live, a chance to be loved, and a chance to give love. The last year of his life, he discovered the door that opened into the house, a real home, and in he went. He was now a Moss FFRC cat, and he was ever so happy. But after a while, Putter slowed down. It was clear that the end was near. That was an extra hard one to take because he was our Putter. He was just so extra special. Many of you never physically met him, but still loved him. Remember this: every time you hug a cat, remember that Putter was the best huggeriest cat ever. Must be a Jackie word. He knew how to wrap those paws around the neck and give the love back to us. And there's our Putter boy.
He was one of the best of the best, wasn't he?
Yes.
You notice all these last ones are so hard, and I think none of us wanted to read them. And this is the very last one. So this one is Fiver. It says, a really sweet kitten. He arrived on 7/11/12. He was about 8 weeks old, a nice-looking golden white male. Unfortunately, during our big storm 2 weeks ago, he received an injury to his left eye. A piece of glass was embedded. The glass had been removed by a neighbor, but then left untreated. This caused extensive damage to his eye. He also had many hundreds of fleas, was very dehydrated and anemic. But as is the way with cats, he was purring. Because of how bad the fleas were, the lady who brought him in felt bad for the mama and the rest of the siblings that she left at where she had picked up Fiver. And then she brought them in the next day. So they were all here then. All were treated, fed, and made comfortable. All the kittens had an upper respiratory infection. Fiver was named Fiver in recognition of our wonderful Friday Fiver and for a name at that cat. The entire family is named after the book Watership Down, which had a Fiver as a character in the book. Because of the bad condition of the eye, the surgery appointment was made quickly to remove the diseased eye. All was well. He sailed through his physical, but Fiver passed away after surgery during recovery. They tried to revive him, but couldn't bring him back. These are so hard to bear. Part of the reason is because he came here, having experienced such a tough life, we had wanted to show him how wonderful life really can be. He did know love. He sure enjoyed purring to show his appreciation, and he gave us a gift. That gift was his mama and siblings. Without him, the lady probably would not have brought Bethany and family to us. They probably would have had a miserable life, but not now. They were all adopted to great homes. I think of Fiver when I read this poem from Alfred Lord Tennyson. I hold it true, whatever befall. I feel it when I sorrow most. 'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. And that is our last one. 150 stories. We had no idea how long this would take. Absolutely no idea. Bill and I was talking about it yesterday, and we thought maybe till 4 o'clock, but I see it's almost 6 o'clock. We've gone through a lot of kitties. It doesn't even touch the tip of what we have had pass through here, but we've hit upon a lot of good ones. This was a lot of work this week, but it also brought me a lot of joy and remembering of a lot of these kitties that have gone through here. And I guess it just brings to mind to me that no matter how many of the extra hard ones that we have here, we would still do it again. And that is because those are the ones that need that love the most. And we're always very rejoiceful for every adoption that we get. I am so appreciative to everybody that is here. We have the best volunteers in this whole wide world. And I am very appreciative to all of you chatters, lurkers, and supporters out there. You mean the world to me and to the kitties and to all of us here. Been a long day, but
we have
boy,
one more thing to do.
we have something else we have to do, and then after we do this, we're going to
Go to bed.
wow, Jackhead, I did not know that. We're going to do our crowning, and the 2 top winners, as you probably know, is Ming, and if you want to get a picture, now's the time because these won't last long. Ming and
Ming.
Zelda got the 2 most.
They are king and queen.
They are awesome. Pizza, yes. They're so wonderful. I love you 2 kitties. Ming, you're just the best.
Okay, can we take them off now?
Aren't they awesome? Mr. Ling, Ming-a-ling, yeah. And Zelda, don't forget Zelda Belda. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, aren't they beautiful? So they had the highest votes of all of them.
Look how excited they are.
Zelda.
Look at Zelda, she's laying there like, okay, get her off.
Oh,
Really?
you guys
do
make
what?
me laugh. Oh my gosh, aren't they wonderful?
Yeah. They laugh.
Yeah, gosh, right now my head is spinning. I think we did Emma Joe's, didn't we? Huh? I don't. Then we must. If we had Emma Joe's in there, somebody, if you sponsored her, let me know because I'll fix it. We are so happy to have all of you here all day long with us. Oh my.
Now they get their treats first.
Yes, they get their treats and they get them first. And that's so good. That's so good. We have sardines, tuna, chicken, salmon, all mixed together. That's one of their very favorite.
Zelda, you need to share.
Favorite
You can't eat it all.
Jackie was going to take the first bites, but she was afraid the government was going to go.
Zelda, there, you get some cat.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, all these names. Angie brought fresh. This has to be the last of the batch, isn't it?
It's getting there. I picked most of it today.
And Barb is coming up in the rear there, with their big old snackers. Here you go, Zelda. Mingers.
Ming went that way.
Mingers, come here.
If any of you have any other questions, we're going to spend just a few minutes on questions. I think we're all kind of tired and hungry too. Hey, Barb, can you make sure